Què tal, com esteu? Avui viatgem fins a Chicago per parlar amb una noia afroamericana. Entrem al Territori Z. Fa uns dies us vam explicar, i segur que ho sabeu, que aquestes últimes setmanes hi ha hagut moltes protestes als Estats Units en contra de la mort de George Floyd a mans de la policia de Minneapolis. Ens ho vau demanar i avui escoltarem un testimoni d'aquest racisme als Estats Units. Parlarem amb la Tania Moore, una jove de 23 anys de Chicago. La conversa és en anglès, evidentment, però l'hem subtitulat perquè entengueu tot el que ens va dir.
I have a lot of feelings about everything that's going on. One, I'm sad that we even have to do this in the first place, and that this has been going on for 401 years, ever since the first slaves were brought to America. And I feel like, even though I'm only 23 years old, I'm really tired of it. And it's very upsetting that this has to keep happening and that we have to protest and fight for our right to say, don't kill me. And if you do kill me, we have to fight to get you arrested when you should already be arrested. I feel like it's pretty straightforward. But I'm also really proud of the way that people all around the country and all around the world are coming together to fight injustice. And through these things, like, I'm seeing like unity, like personally, I've never seen it before. And I'm also inspired in that way. So I'm feeling a lot of different things, but as things progress forward, I'm feeling a little bit more hopeful than I was at the beginning. It's definitely something you have to deal with in day-to-day life. You're always hyper vigilant about what's going on. You're always checking your surroundings. You know, growing up, your parents tell you how to survive interactions with the police. I won't say it's unique to the Black community, but it might be unique to the minority community as well. Like, parents teaching their children how to navigate life in America, whereas the majority, their children don't have to think about that. So I think discrimination happens in a bunch of different ways. Systematically, I'm always discriminated against. It's harder for Black people to get loans in America. We're discriminated against in the workplace, in medical situations. Like, I don't know if you know, but during this whole COVID-19 situation, majority of the people that are dying in the United States are Black and Latino people. And also, like, yes, I've been discriminated against. I've been in classes and people look at me a certain way because they don't think I should be there. I went to the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor for undergrad, and there was times in a room full of 200 people, it would just be me and another Black person. And those were the only people representative of our culture. Or every time the topic of slavery comes up, everyone looks at you in the classroom and it's like, I'm not just a spokesperson for the Black experience. Yes, I might know more than you, but you should be just as educated on injustices as I am. I shouldn't only care because I'm Black. You should care because that's this country's history and you want to be an engineer for social change. So I've definitely been discriminated against, and it's probably going to happen for the rest of my life. I think what we're fighting for now is for the chance for that to be lessened for the generations that come next. So I think there is a chance. I don't think it will completely go away due to this country was built on systemic racism. And so it's literally in the roots, it's in the history, it's in the bones, it's in the laws of this country. And I feel like until we change the laws and things like that, it's going to be extremely hard to get rid of systemic racism. But in terms of like face-to-face, calling someone the N-word or being discriminatory, I feel like that can change with better education, because the United States education system is lacking. People learn different things in different parts of the country that aren't necessarily true to factual history. So I definitely feel like people getting educated about Black history and the history, this country's true history. And I think the narrative needs to be changed, and they try to paint the United States in such a pretty way, and it's not the truth. I think if we were more transparent with the youth and how they come up, then things won't be blown out of proportion, because there's still adults who think those things and it's just not the truth. So I think education is the way to change what's going on and getting informed. So I feel like he's done a lot of damage, But I also feel like those people were always there. They just didn't have a voice anymore because it was publicly inappropriate to be outwardly racist. I feel like a lot of people have felt like it's okay to voice their opinions publicly about these things. And I feel like that is a positive and a negative thing. It's a positive thing because it proves that the United States doesn't live in a post-racial society like everyone thought it did during Obama's presidency. And I feel like it's negative because it's hate speech in every level of it. I just feel like he has made things worse for sure. I was really upset when he got elected. I did my part to go out and vote, but there's multiple different reasons why he got elected and things like that. But yeah, I think he's done a lot of damage, but I feel like he's brought something that was festering under the surface to the light. So I don't think it's all his fault. I just think he gave a voice to those who didn't have a voice before, and their voice is terrible, honestly. But yeah. I don't think they should have been militarized the way they have been. I think they've been very aggressive when it comes to peaceful protest. I feel like the police are brutalizing at a police brutality peace march. Like it just further proving the point of why people are out there in the streets in the first place. Like, why are you throwing pepper spray into a peaceful crowd? Like, why are you pushing down a 75-year-old man who can barely walk on his own and then arresting him? Like, why are you doing all of these things, like smashing people's windows and dragging them from their cars, like the Black college students in Atlanta? And it's just like some of the things that I've seen trending on Twitter and things is like the police would rather brutalize everyone instead of to stop brutalizing Black people. It's like they don't want to give that up so much that they're just willing to brutalize everyone. And so I definitely think there needs to be systemic change and more training and things like that when it comes to the police, because I don't believe every single police officer is bad, but if you aren't checking the bad police officers, then what good are you to me? And then I also think the system of the police needs to be changed. Like, it doesn't do us any good if you're a good cop in a bad system. So my message would be to speak up. Just because it's not happening in Europe right now doesn't mean that you can't speak up about it. Like the way the United States, in my opinion, the way the United States calls out other countries on their human rights violations, I feel like other countries should be doing the same thing. I feel like the rest of the world should be condemning the United States on their actions. Like, this has gone on for entirely too long. Like, since the United States beginning, it's been inherently racist, and they've been doing and having like human rights violations, and yet no one has, like, I feel like not enough people, not the world is just letting them do what they want because they're so powerful. But at the end of the day, they have to follow the rules just like everyone else. And I would also ask people there in like Barcelona, like in Catalonia and Spain and Madrid and wherever you are, to look inside your own hearts and figure out where you lie in these things, get educated about what's going on, and think about how you treat people in your country, like outsiders or people who migrate there. Are you fighting for immigrant rights? Like, what are you doing in your own home and in your own space to open up that dialogue about racial injustices and talking about the privilege that you have to be a white European? Like, what does that mean? And there's people being mistreated in Spain and everywhere around the world. And what are you going to do to help those people who don't have a voice that's as strong as your own? Like, Aina is a really good friend of mine that I met in the 8th grade, and I have other friends there. And just to see that some of them post about things that are going on here, like, makes my heart feel good. And like when the protests were going on in Catalonia, and I posted about it too, because I was like, Spain, we see you. This isn't right. When the police were brutalizing the protesters in Catalonia, I was like, we can see you. Just because it's happening on your streets doesn't mean the world isn't watching. So I definitely think it's time for people to just stop being like citizens of their own country, but think about being global citizens. And what does that mean? It means advocating for people in different countries and things of that nature, and learning about different cultures and respecting those cultures, not appropriating them, but learning about them and caring for them. So I think that would be my message. if you can, if you've seen the petitions on change.org and things like that, make sure to sign some petitions. If you can donate money to like the Minnesota Freedom Fund, or different states around the country have people who are sitting in jail right now because they went out to peacefully protest and they were arrested. If you have some money, you can donate to them, do that. I would definitely get educated if you can. There's free documentaries on YouTube that I recommend. One is the Black Power mixtape. Just go out and look for resources that you haven't known before, like get to know what this history truly is. And I would say get on the right side of history, because I think we're going in a pretty positive direction.
I fins aquí les paraules de la Tania Moore parlant del racisme als Estats Units. Ho deixem aquí, que vagi molt bé.